it's Adrian, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to bring you another tag video. I don't do tag videos very often, I've noticed, but when I do them, I do a whole bunch in a row. I don't know, it's a thing that I do. Anyway, this week's tag is the last 10 books tag. I saw this done by Amanda from A Quarter Books in Love. I will leave her video along with the original creator's video down in the description box below in case you want to do this tag as well. There are 10 questions, obviously, so let's just jump right in. Question number 1 is the last book you didn't finish. The last book I didn't finish was The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. It wasn't that I didn't like this book, it's an older book so it's a little bit slower. I just had a hard time getting into it and I had just gotten done reading a really good book, so I was in like a book funk and it just wasn't the good time. I would like to read it. I think I might actually read it with my kids. My youngest daughter is obsessed with unicorns, so I think she might like it. But I would like to get to it eventually, it wasn't the time. Number 2 is the last book that you reread. That would be The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. I reread this book in order to prepare for the whole relaunch thing that I did last month, and it was really good. I actually did it on audiobook this time. Usually I reread them just regular book, but I've never actually listened to the audiobook, so I listened to the audiobook that time around. It was pretty good. Number 3 is the last book you bought. I actually bought 2 books and they were both mentioned in my last book haul video, and that was The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hong and Far From the Tree by, who's this by? Robin Benway. I read them both already. Aren't you proud of me? This is going to be a really quick tag video, I think. Number 4 is the last book you said you read, but you didn't. I haven't done that since high school. I did it a lot in high school, if we're being perfectly honest. Don't tell my mother. But I haven't done it since high school. Number 5 is the last book you wrote in the margins for. That would be The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. I read this book because my mom sent it to me. She wanted me to read it and review it. She thought I would really like it. She was right. My mom knows me pretty well. And so I wrote in this book quite a lot, actually. Of course, now that I'm looking for it, I can't actually find it. But I wrote in a couple pages. Especially in the beginning, I did a whole review on this book. And so in order for the review, I wrote a couple things. I underlined some stuff. The first part of the book I found to be really intriguing. The second half of the book, not so much. But it was pretty good. I did write a good bit of stuff in here. Towards the end, I found it to be a little bit more interesting as well. It was mostly the middle half that I wasn't a huge fan of. Number 6 is the last book you've had signed. I've never actually gone to a book signing. I live in the Netherlands, so there aren't that many English authors that come to bookstores and do book signings. It's just, unfortunately, it's a sad thing. But I did receive a book for review, and the author sent me a signed copy, which was very nice. And that's Wildcat. Let me show you the cover first. This Wildcat by J.P. Harker, and he signed it for me. How very nice. Thank you very much. Number 7 is the last book that you lost. I don't lose books. I don't lose things in general. That's not true. I lose my keys all the time. I misplace my keys. I don't lose my keys. Have I misplaced a book recently? Sure, probably. But I haven't actually lost a book ever, except in 9th grade. I did lose my history book and I was so afraid I was going to get so much trouble that I broke down and cried in front of the history teacher. I don't know where that history book went. I think somebody ate it. Number 8 is the last book you've had to replace. I haven't actually replaced it yet, but I'm working on replacing the whole series, and that's the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, especially The Well of Ascension. When we were moving, last year we moved, and I was packing up books and drinking coffee at the same time, and that is just a stupid idea. I don't know what was wrong with me. I think it was probably sleep deprivation. But I spilled the coffee all over my book, and so the back half of my book is just like soaked. My papers are very crunchy now. So I'm hoping to be able to replace these. I actually wanted the UK edition anyway because I'm not a big fan of the American editions. So I'm okay with it. I'm looking for them in thrift stores, so I'm not going to buy them new. I don't like to replace new books unless I absolutely have to. But yeah, I ruined it. And it's a good series too. This one was actually my favorite book of the series. Number 9 is the last book you had an argument over. I'm generally not an argumentative person. I will have a discussion with somebody, absolutely, but I don't argue about things very often. But I did have an argument about a book with my daughter, and that is the Dolfia Weerwolfia books. I read these last year in October because they're more of like spooky Halloweenish books. She really wanted to read them, and I'm a very strict person about what my daughter reads. So I let her read the first book in the series because I read it. It was okay, there was a bad word in it that I wasn't too happy with, but other than that, it wasn't a bad book. The second book started to get very dark and almost evil, and so I refused to let her read the book, and she was not happy, so we exchanged words. Mommy won, because mommies always win. And lastly, number 10 is the last book you had a hard time getting a hold of, and I'm gonna go with God's Grave by J. Kristoff. I wanted this book since it came out, and it took me forever because I had the American version of Nevernight. I bought it at Barnes & Noble when I was visiting my parents, and I hadn't been to Barnes & Noble. I hadn't been to America God knows how many times between weddings and funerals, but I hadn't had a chance to go to Barnes & Noble, so I finally got the book, and it took forever because Book Depository didn't have the American edition, which was frustrating, and I know the third one's coming out soon, so I have a feeling I'm going to have the same problem. By the way, it is signed as well. This is the only other signed book that I own, and but I didn't get it signed, so I guess I could have gone with this one for the signed book question as well, but I didn't. They're upset for this book tag. I am going to tag 2 people. I'm going to tag Read and Find Out, and I'm going to tag Book Bits. So I would very much like to see you guys do this video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't yet, I would love for you to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.